On her blog, she had made a blog post called Paleocrat, Rush Limbaugh's Mini-Me. Now, this was done back on December 6th. And she had this to say. She said, quote, "I found a radio talk show host who might be a little Rush Limbaugh in training. A lot of his comments are quite disturbing. So disturbing that I debated even blogging about him. Here's an introduction to Paleocrat, a right-wing, somewhat religious fanatic the left might want to keep an eye on."
Fanatic.
I know, I'm a fanatic. Somewhat, I mean, it's like, she calls me right-wing, okay, I grant that, but somewhat religious fanatic. I mean, at least say that I'm a religious kook.
Yeah.
At least be honest about that and just come out and say it, I'm not somewhat religious, I'm extremely.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy religious.
That's right. Crazy
I am.
religious. Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where I differ with Rush Limbaugh, because, she's not the first person to say this. I've had other people who say, oh, you're just acting like Rush Limbaugh. I've had people say that. And it kind of gets under my skin a little bit. It really does, because you know what? I don't even know what personal traits or anything. The way I talk, I don't know what I have a whole lot in common other than that we're on talk radio. And we're generally conservative. He's a neocon, I'm a paleocon. But you've got, so I guess we're cons, but that's what we are.
We're cons.
We're cons. We're con men, right? But here's my positions. Here's where the two of us would completely disagree. I'm a non-interventionist, okay, when it comes to foreign policy. I believe in a foreign policy that focuses on free trade, on diplomacy and honest friendship. I believe in limited constitutional federal government. Now, Rush Limbaugh might say that he does, but he backs all these big programs. He doesn't call for the abolition of all of these completely unconstitutional programs. He calls for a lot of them, for the abolition of a lot of them. But a lot of these conservatives, like Rush Limbaugh, would rather have power over those things than abolish those things. See, I'm out to destroy them. I want them gone. I don't want to ride Leviathan, I want to slay it. And that's the difference. I want an end to central economic planning headed by the Federal Reserve. I want it completely gone. Completely. I want to return to real money. I mean, seriously, I don't want
printing monopoly money.
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of printed fiat money. I don't want that. I want real money that actually is backed by
gold.
At least backed by it. That way we've got something precious to actually this substantial behind it. So it's not just this. Let's pull it out of thin air. Every time we need money, well, just go to the printing press. Right. Yeah, it doesn't grow on trees. It comes out of a printing press.
That's right.
I support the decriminalization of drugs. Okay, we talked a little bit about that before. But and here's the other difference between Rush Limbaugh and I, is I am unabashedly Christian. Unabashedly. He gives lip service to it. Christianity for a long time has had a secular mouthpiece at the forefront. And you know what, folks? That's not me. That's not me. I won't sit here and I mean, you heard me when I talked about Romney. I'm not sitting here playing the universalist card. I'll be honest. I'm an exclusivist. I say, well, if I have a certain opinion and I submit to certain dogmas, which I do, then that obviously excludes other things and other people. And I'm not ashamed of that. And when it comes to the culture war, I'm not playing tiddlywinks with it, and I'm not sitting there saying, hey, let's support whatever Republican candidate, even though he has a view on abortion which is completely repugnant. I at least take a principled stand. We can disagree. I mean, my co-host and I disagree on this stuff. But at least, you know what? Sue me for being principled. So, but on her video blog, this lady, Genia, she said that I was a big fan of Ann Coulter. Now, I got to admit, I like Ann Coulter sometimes. But I'm not a huge fan. We disagree on a whole ton of stuff. But the issue here, okay, and it had to do with my defense of Ann Coulter, and I did that here on this radio show, is I said, listen, I think that the media did a piss-poor job of handling her comments pertaining to Christianity and Judaism. So I pointed that out, and I said, okay, you're in the pockets of the lobby, and you don't understand, Orthodox Christianity, no big deal. And listen, if she was wrong, and she has been a lot of times, I wouldn't defend her. But criticisms of her remarks were both ignorant and unfair, and I'll stand by that. I think they were ignorant and unfair. And I think that if anybody, the word's not even illiterate, the word is illiterate, because it's a group of people who know better, who have the resources available. Okay, these people are investigative journalists. All they have to do is a simple Google search on this stuff, and they could figure it out. But instead, they refuse to read. They refuse to look into it, and instead they just slander somebody. And they throw mud at them. So the whole thing was rather unfortunate. So here I am, mischaracterized once again.
This horrible demon child.
I am. I'm demonized. Everywhere I go, I'm demonized. Let me say this, though, okay, is that while I disagree with Rush Limbaugh on a lot of things, I do admire him. I think that...
Don't degrade yourself and say you admire him.
Well, I do. I admire what he's done. I admire the fact that he
opened the door for you.
Of course, he opened the door. He pulled out the red carpet for me.
Okay, I gotcha.
That's what he did. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna roll out the red carpet for Paleo,
Just for Jeremiah.
just for me."
Yeah.
The world was waiting for me.
Right.
So, but he did things that nobody else had really done, and especially for us, for conservatives. And he was a voice in times where it was really tough, and he really was. And do I believe he sold out on a lot of his earlier positions? Yeah, sure. Has he always been perfect on it? No, he never was. So is he the most morally upstanding man on the planet? Absolutely not. Nobody's contending that he is.
Not everybody's perfect.
But would I like to be like him? A little bit. I wouldn't mind the money.
I was gonna say you wouldn't mind his paycheck.
Well, according to some people, I get paid a whole bunch of loot here. So, anyways, but yeah. So do I like Rush Limbaugh? He's a give and take. It's sweet and sour.
He's on the air.
It's bittersweet,
right now,
whatever.
So I can put you on hold.
He's a mixed bag.
Okay.
Ann Coulter, same thing, mixed bag. Some people would say she's a mixed hag. But
Well, everybody does that.
yeah, but on the flip side, okay, I think that it's an honor that she actually believes that I'm someone that the left needs to look out for.